Alrighty guys, welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show, episode 150. I thought we were on 155 last week. This is 156 this week.
No, it's not. It's 155.
Okay, if you say so. Alright, welcome everyone. As you can tell, there is no Bethany here today, so there's no one to rein me in. I'm going to be loud, I'm going to be crazy, and I'm going to talk fast, so bear with. No, Mocha Bear, not the microphone!
Not Mocha Bear, it's Shotzi.
Well, she looks like Mocha Bear. This is Shotzi. She'll be joining us today. She's on her first couple days here at Puppy Academy. She's very happy to be here. She got a little taste of my microphone, and now that's all she wants. So bear with me if she... All right, guys. She's done. She's eating the microphone. She's eating the microphone. She's been in here for 12 minutes. She's done. Bethany has more patience. Sorry, I don't have patience like Bethany.
Here she is. Say bye, everyone.
That's Shotzi.
Give her some love.
Woo! Sorry, if she wasn't eating the microphone, I would have kept her. All right, so let's start with a short one.
No, let's go back and tell people about the potty training power hour.
Oh yeah, see, I told you Ricky was gonna rein me in, guys. Everyone, we have a potty training power hour that we are doing on June 26th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the link is in our bio if you want to sign up. This one's free, right? So it's a free thing, and it's basically giving you a snapshot of what our online program is and how we can help you guys. I actually have quite a few potty training questions. I even had one person ask if they could send me a schedule. Guys, that's literally what we're doing in our potty training power hour and what we do in our online school. So that's what it's there for. If anyone wants to send us a schedule or they want to just get help on potty training, that's where you guys want to go. We have a couple different things that we're going to be doing over the next few weeks / few months. All right, let's start with a short one. This is from Carly Swink. 5-month-old Corthell's Griffin. I am going to have to Google that because I know a Brussels Griffin, but not a Corthell's Griffin. Someone Google this for me, please, while I'm reading this. Wants to chase cars that come from behind us on walks. Tip to stop. Okay. One, I'm going to first ask, do you guys have any head control? Are we walking dog on a harness? Do you have a slip lead, a martingale, things like that? That's usually one of the first things I want to look into is, can I redirect my dog away from that traffic? Can I get my dog's focus when I'm on the walk? Do I have any food focus? These are the things that you really want to build up to. 5-month-old, so adolescence, you're just basically getting in adolescence. My question also is, what does your walk look like when you're doing a normal walk? Is your dog ahead of you? Are they behind you? Are they pulling to the side? Are they sniffing on everything? Are they very easily distracted before the car even drives by? If so, that's the first thing I'd work on. Honestly, I'd say go back to the basics. I would want to teach my dog how to walk on a loose heel, be able to follow food, be able to get a little bit of head control. So if my dog is distracted by something small and simple like a dog across the street and they look at them, can I add a little bit of pressure to my leash? They give in to the pressure, I redirect them with food, and then I can guide them away from that distraction. If we can do that, then you're getting to the point to where you could start redirecting from big noises or big distractions like a car coming behind you that he wants to lunge towards. But if we don't have the first step, you won't be able to get the first step yet. That one gives me pause. It makes me a little bit nervous because I've had multiple dogs that have popped off leashes, like they've pulled hard enough to snap the leash, and they've actually run in the street, and thankfully they're okay, but you never really know when a dog goes in the street. So I would say if you're really worried about this, look into a private trainer, find someone who does balanced dog training, so they work with some head control tools, and they also have a balance working with puppies and using food. That'd be my advice to you. But yeah, that's a scary one if they're running in the street. Taryn Lunsford. 10-week-old puppy has been humping my leg or our little nephew when he gets excited. Tips, he's a Schnoodle. Leash control, you gotta have something on him. I know there's a lot of different things you can read online. You can give a little knee bump and get them off. The only issue is that while you guys might be able to do that as adults, your little nephew may not be able to. So it's not his job to control the dog. It's our job to kind of intercede on his behalf. One of the big things I usually communicate to owners, especially parents of young children, is anytime your dog is out and about, they should always have a leash on. If they're prone to jumping up on the kids or nipping at people or even just having accidents, that leash should be attached to us. It could be hooked on a belt loop. They could have like a little playpen area that's maybe a larger, like 10-foot area where they're just kind of hanging out inside of it. You need to have an area that you can control. So when the dog starts trying to jump, it's something as simple as maybe I walk into them firmly and tell them no. Kids can't do it, but you as adults can. You can build up more leverage for the children. Or you can pick up leash, lift up your arm a few inches, extend your elbows out a few inches in front of you, and you kind of just pause for a second. We aren't trying to lift the body off the ground at all. I'm not trying to lift the front 2 feet off the ground. All I'm actually trying to do is create enough tension that the head comes above the shoulders by about 2 or 3 inches. And what happens after that is if they try to fight the pressure, their paws will come off the ground, but that's not on you guys. You're just holding a gentle pressure. When they put the paws back down, they sit down on the ground and they allow their bodies to settle and relax. It's momentary. It's probably pretty fake as well, but I'll tell you why I say that in a second. The whole point behind it is that you get them to momentarily back off and settle. The minute you release that pressure, that's what I was talking about, they're going to jump on you again. They're going to jump up and try to nip because one time won't do it. The reason that they test that boundary is because they need probably a little bit more obedience. This is one of the great ways of accomplishing that and then redirecting it to some training. Pressure up, hold, the dog settles, you release, they go to jump again. No, pressure, hold, wait, they settle again, you give slack. When you're able to relax the leash, they don't go back to biting it, they don't go back to biting you or jumping, and they kind of just go, and they take a breath. That's the breath that tells me they're ready to do something. They're jumping on you for a reason. They're bored, they're tired, they're cranky, they might need a nap, they might need some training, they might need a walk, they might need a little bit of play, and that's their way of communicating it through a pushy method. I always have a training pouch on me anytime my puppies are not in the crate, and I learned that from Bethany because she is very, very, very strict about that with all of our clients. And when I have that pouch on my hip, I walk to my dog, I pick up leash, I do the pressure work, they eventually back off and settle. I'm already reaching into my pouch for a handful of kibble or a couple treats, food to the nose, hand on leash still, come, play, sit, good. You could do come, sit, down, stay. You basically want to start working them through some training because after you tell a dog no, you're not done with them. Basically what they're going to do is that they're going to back off and they're going to think, all right, what's the next step? When we give it, their brain latches onto it. If we don't give anything, they go back to the bad behavior because they really don't know what to do with themselves anyways. Come, play, sit down, good, pause, come, play, sit down, run them through a few routines. And once they start looking like the eyes aren't the crazy eyes, that's like the dilated pupils where they just want to jump and bite, it's like shark puppy, like baby shark. When that goes away and they look a little bit more focused, that's when I want you to start giving food. Don't give food right away. If you give food right away, you're actually rewarding the bad behavior of jumping and nipping without even realizing it because their mentality, their mindset, is still in that forward motion, jumpy, nippy personality. It's only when we work that down that we start rewarding them. And think of their brain like a little atom. When that atom spins and it has a whole bunch of channels, it filters the energy where it needs to go. When it has no channels, we haven't done enough training with them, it explodes and you get an atom bomb. That's basically our puppies. Most of our puppies, at least 24/7, they're basically a constant exploding atom bomb. They're just going crazy. When you give come, play, sit, down, heel, drop it, leave it, fetch, all those different commands, the energy starts funneling into those channels. So it helps your dog process information. Instead of them walking up and jumping and nipping at you, they might come up and sit in front of you and wait because we've taught them the good behavior for them to invest their energy into. All right, that was a really long-winded example for a 13-word question. Yes. All right, and this one is from TikTok, right? Am I on TikTok? This is Instagram? Okay. This is from Instagram. For Sherry, 21, my 8-month-old puppy barks at everything, noises, people, other dogs. All right. Is this in the house? Is this out of the house? 8 months too, you're kind of not really a puppy anymore. When dogs hit about 7 to 8 months, they start becoming adolescent adults. So it's like you could call a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old a kid, but really they're almost like a mature young adult. That's kind of more how I see them. So the questions I'd be asking myself, did she respond? Oh, both. Okay, great. So if we're getting it inside and outside, my goal is more about what kind of focus do I get when I'm inside the house. I wouldn't even go outside and do walks with my puppy yet if I'm still getting that much barking outside, or I'd choose to do it when it's very quiet. You're talking before sun comes up in the morning, when sun is down at evening, and you're just not going to see as many dogs. That's so you can still get them outside for now, but the barking will get worse the longer it goes on. Transition to inside the house, and you want to start training your dog to give you focus when they think about barking. So how would I do that? I'm inside my living room. Welcome to my living room. I got a leash on my dog. They're sitting on place command. By the way, definitely join the online school. You have a lot of commands there that I'm going to explain in a few minutes that you can easily Google and YouTube. It just doesn't have the same consistency of learning. But dogs on place by me, which is teaching them to go to a designated area on command and stay there until released. This is how we teach calm on command. So puppies on place, I have a leash on them, and I'm watching TV, we're hanging out. I've already done my 2 hours of crate rotation because dogs that are barking like that, they need to be sleeping about 16 to 20 hours a day. They're probably overstimulated, and an overstimulated puppy is always on and always alert. Every little noise, they're alert to it, running to the window. Overstimulated puppy, need more sleep. But if I have a well-rested puppy and they're still barking like this, I have them on place, I have the leash. I do a let's go technique for this one, or almost like a place pattern, which is place, come, place, good, treat, break. So it's basically running them through a sequence where they can start settling down and processing information differently. When I hear a noise outside, I always make this joke to owners, which is when you hear a noise, what's the first thing you do? You know what owners tell me? I stare at it, I'm human. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. I do too, or at least I used to. I hear a noise, I look to the noise, and instantly, what's my dog doing? Ears are up, pointed forward, head staring, back is straight, tail is straight behind him. My dog's about to lunge towards that window and start barking. The second I see that, I stand up, I grab my leash, let's go, and I start moving down my hallway, away from the sound, away from the noise, away from the stimulation. If my dog has already started hyper-focusing on it and has already started pulling towards it, I might even give a little tug on the leash, what we call like a leash tug, and then I'll start walking down the hallway saying, let's go. Every time my dog tries to pull me in the direction of the noise, I brace the leash against my hips, my arm that holds the slack kind of goes behind my back like I'm going to chicken wing myself, and I use the leverage of my hips and my quads to push through any of the pushiness my dog has. So if I turn away from the window and my dog pulls towards it, I'm going to use my hips to drive towards the back end of my house. Once my dog starts following me, that is what we call being below threshold. Being below threshold in the dog's head is when they start looking to you more and not looking at the distraction, taking food from you and not ignoring it to stare at the distraction. You need to find an opportunity to get your dog below threshold so your food becomes valuable, you become valuable, your leash guidance becomes valuable. And from that point, you need to start training your dog. If that's where your place is, your place cot, your dog bed, awesome. Try something simple. Come, place, sit, good. Pause, take a breath. Give a treat. Pause, take a breath. Let's go off the bed, right about to the buffer of where he starts showing a little bit more interest towards that front door. Then I'm going to circle back to the bed, and I'm going to do that until I can get closer and closer and closer to the area that has the noises. The whole point is that you're trying to up the threshold in your dog's brain, and that threshold basically is his tolerance to noises and distractions without reacting towards it. A stronger threshold, a stronger, more confident dog. That would be the first steps, but if you haven't even done that yet with the food, teach let's go work, teach place pattern, and then teach recall with the sit. Those are some of the first commands I'd work on, and if my dog has trouble focusing, practice them in a quieter area of your home where you can get as much focus as possible. You can even do noise machines by the areas that you're hearing the noises. That way, at least it kind of overrules some of the noise that your puppy's hearing. You're welcome. All right, just because I know Bethany will yell at me if I don't do it, I'm going to read some of the longer ones. Just bear with me. I'm very monotone. All righty. Hi there. I have 2 6-month-old Dachshunds, not from the same litter. Smart. And the female will immediately pee on any type of bed we put down for them. It's maddening, and I keep buying dog beds. It's not the mat we keep in the crate, just a bed for them to relax on in our common area. Could this be territorial marking? She's getting spayed in 2 weeks. Might this help? If it was territorial marking, it'd be very, very small piece. It would be like a little spot like that big. Dachshund, maybe even that big, like size of like a nickel or a quarter. It'd be a very small urination. And if it is marking, then you have a different problem. You got to have a leash on that pup, and they're not allowed. Honestly, I'd probably eliminate all the dog beds for that puppy and the other one for about 2 to 4 months, just until you can get them a little bit better. I would look into getting a pet cot, which is basically, I don't have it in here. I usually do. It's basically a rectangular dog bed that has 4 legs that lifts it about 6 to 8 inches above the ground. And Kimberly, you don't have to grab one. You don't have to grab one. You're good. You don't have to grab one. But it's basically 6 to 8 inches off the ground. And when the dog is on it, it's got a breathable mesh. So if they do urinate on it, you can undo everything in like 2 minutes, throw it in the wash, so at least it's easy to clean. Or you could even use that and eventually put a dog bed on top of it once you create the association, not pee on it. Other things I'm thinking about is I need to get my puppy on a structure schedule. If you're not on one yet, it's possible that your puppy just doesn't understand where they're supposed to go potty. How our structure schedules work is you can find them in our link in our bio. We also have the... I know, I'm working towards it. I'm working towards it. We also have on June 26th our puppy training potty, our Puppy Academy potty training power hour. It's a lot of P's in there, okay? It's a tongue twister. Bear with, bear with. A lot of P's, H and T's and whatever. Oh, I get what you did there. There's a lot of P's, pun intended. Made me lose my train of thought. But basically you need to get on a structure schedule because how that works is when you bring a dog out of the crate, the first thing we do is leash them up. And we actually take them outside. We take them on leash outside. We stand in one area for about 2 to 3 minutes without moving. I would probably do them solo because it's very possible that your one dog's going out there and she's either getting distracted by the other dog or she just is easily distracted in general. Go out there for 2 minutes. Stay in one spot, don't move. You don't want to be walking around new areas. That teaches a lot of sniffing and actually even promotes marking because they're exploring different territories and that's when they start marking different territories. You stand like a tree. She can go left, right, forward, back flip, whatever she wants, but you're not going to follow. Eventually she'll hit the end of the leash a couple times, come back to us, and then she'll either potty for you or she'll sit and stare at you like my dog likes to do sometimes. When they do that, it's okay. Just pick them up so they don't have an accident in your house. Take them back to the crate, pop in the crate, 5 to 15 minutes, depending on age. 6 month, I'm gonna do probably 15 to 30 minutes. 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, I'll probably do like 5 to 15. Just gotta play around with it a little bit, depending on how long they can hold it. And after that 15 to 30 minutes for our 6 month Dachshund, I'm gonna take them right back outside and do that potty over again. I'll actually rinse and repeat that as many times as I need to until I eventually get a potty. If you weren't having accidents inside the house and your puppy just held it for 4, 5, 6 hours, some dogs do, some dogs don't, then I would say it's not a big deal. Puppy doesn't potty, they can still come in for their free time because they don't go every couple hours. But if your puppy's having potty accidents, you got to get them on a schedule because very likely they don't understand what they're actually supposed to do and where they're actually supposed to go. Even though your other dog's doing it, there might be a disconnect with this one. Get them on a schedule. Join us for the potty training power hour. I got it. And then we can go over a little bit more of that with you guys there. Ooh, this is a really long one. This is scary for me. I'm gonna skip that one for now. All right, this is from Eberswick. 6-month-old Aussie gets car sick, vomits on every 3 to 4 trip, third to fourth trip. Desensitization tips, 45-minute car ride. This is more Bethany, but I've trained a few dogs doing car stuff. One, you can't drive like me, which is not slow. It's very fast, and I take turns quickly. You can't do that. You have to be very conscientious with how you put your dog in the car, how you drive, but there's also a lot of pre-care that goes into getting them used to being in the car. I can tell you, I'll just regurgitate some information I know Bethany always gives for it, and this is kind of her bread and butter, which is when we're teaching a dog to go into the car and they're afraid to jump up in it, it's okay to just literally pick them up, put them in the car, say break, and let them jump out. You got to do something easy first. It's the same way as how we teach house, which is crate. We put them in, we let them run out. We eventually put them in, stand in front. Once they settle, then we let them out. And we build up the duration. We put them in, we pause for a couple seconds, we ask them for a sit, we try to give a treat, they take the food, then we break and release them out of it. You want to do some training in that back seat. If you can't get your puppy to jump up in there, try getting in the car yourself, opening the opposite side door, crawling to the opposite side of the car, and applying a small amount of pressure with some food guidance and see if they'll jump in and then allow them to jump right out the other side of the car. You have to first desensitize the fact that the car is not scary. Get them to the point to where you've not once turned on the car, but they go in it, no problem. They sit in it, no problem. Maybe even they give you a down in it, no problem. And then close both back doors, sit in your front seat holding the leash, and just turn on the ignition. Car turns on, dog freaks out, Pause for a couple seconds, turn off the car, open your door, go to their door, spend 5 minutes training them until they're calm again. Once they're calm, go back to the front seat. Same thing, turn on the car. They freak out, but less. Not as intense, not even as long. You go back there, you work them through it. And you basically build them up that way. I'm not even pulling out of my driveway if my dog is pacing back and forth. I need to have it down in that back seat. I want my dog on a seatbelt for his harness, and I want to have some kind of head control that I can put my leash to so I can still control a little bit from the front seat as well. I'm preventing pacing, and anytime my dog starts freaking out, I'm pulling over, I'm stopping, and I'm going to work them through that anxiety that forms from the drive. And then everything else, you can't drive crazy. Just can't. That's a big one for Bethany too. She just had a baby. She's got a couple dogs that do get car sick. So this is kind of already a part of her life. That's something that was easy for her to do. It's harder for others, but start with short trips, get in the car, build up to a block, build up to a couple blocks, eventually get up to a 25, 30-minute drive, build up to your 45-minute drive. They do have medications that you can give your dog when their stomach is completely empty. That kind of prevents the gag reflex from activating, so it can prevent some of the vomiting. But my mom has 2 dogs. They both are on that medication, and they blow chunks in her car every time she drives. So medication works for some, not for others. The training always works, unless you have an extreme fear situation, of which, just like we'd always recommend, we recommend private one-on-one training if it's that bad. Ooh, we got some good ones coming in. Sorry, guys. I think I'm on, which one am I on again? Instagram? Sorry, I'm doing Instagram because I don't have Bethany to open up TikTok. Love you guys. All right, this is from BS Churma. I have a Husky Shepherd puppy, 19 weeks, a baby. He barks like crazy when seeing other dogs. When he is on leash, sounds like he is being killed. Ooh, okay. I'm curious if it's fear, if it's trepidation, if it's reactivity, if it's possible aggression. I hope you're still on BS Churba, because I'm going to ask you some follow-up questions. When your dog does the barking, is he going forward? Does he have forward momentum towards the dog? Is he backing away from them as he barks? Is he barking, stopping, and then hiding behind you? Is he barking and then bolting to the side to escape the situation? These are all things I usually like to ask because, one, I mean, the easy answer, the generic answer is we want to make sure that we have leverage with them before they ever start barking. So generic answer I'll give is you need to make sure you go back to your basics more. If I'm on a walk, if I take my dog outside, the first dog they see they start barking at, that probably means I'm maybe not ready for going outside to that degree yet. I would focus more on being inside my home, along the sides of my property, backyard, front yard, driveway, parking garage if you live in an apartment complex or something. You're looking to do everything in the most controlled of settings in your home and around your home before going outside. The only problem with the barking is if you don't have leverage to stop it, you've tried stuff, you've tried walking away, you've tried giving a little tug on the leash and the harness, redirecting with food, nothing's working. Nothing will work yet until you build more leverage. What are some commands I'd focus on? I got to do the shameless plug. Online school obviously is a great option for you because you have a young puppy, and that's kind of what we focused on in the online school. Usually puppies under 6 months for all of our basic obedience. But if you don't have that yet, focus on a relationship building exercise like come. Say the puppy's name, tell them come, walk back a few steps. Your hand needs to be parallel to the ground at the same height that their head is to the ground. Walk back. Do 25 to 50 repetitions of that every single morning. You're looking for a place command, which is putting them on the dog bed, having them sit, pausing for a moment, getting them to settle and relax momentarily, and then rewarding them and breaking them off the bed. I actually take my place cot outside with new dogs that I'm training that I don't have a lot of control with because place is a great targeted area. It's a great anchor point. And I'll go sit in the front yard with my dog on place next to me in the patio, and every time I see a dog walk by the front and my dog perks up, similar to the other dog that we had in a previous question that was barking from inside the house and outside the house, they perk up. The second they perk up, I stand up, puppy, let's go. I walk opposite from where that dog is. They're looking back. I don't stop walking. I gotta keep going. When they're like, fine, what do you want, human? I'm not looking at the dog anymore. Puppy, sit. Good. Down. good. You don't have to be that positive. If your puppy's already overstimulated, then you might even need more of a firm tone. If your puppy's nervous and looking back, then I might be a little bit more motivational. Think about whatever your puppy's personality is, and do the opposite. If I come home and I have a pitty named Ladybug, she's the sweetest little dog ever, but she greets me like a rampage. She's like a tornado when I walk in. I ignore her. I go say hi to the dog that's super calm. My dog's pretty lazy. She's more relaxed, she's more calm. I'll say hi to her. And usually by the time I'm done, Ladybug's sitting and waiting for more calm affection. I'll transfer to her. I'll give her a little bit of affection. So what you pet is what you get. You always want to make sure to give the opposite energy to what your dog's giving you. They're crazy, you can be more stern and firm. They're unsure and nervous, you can be more motivational and motivating. If they're just neutral, just be neutral with them. Or you can be a little bit more emotional or a little bit more stern. You kind of have a more balanced personality and dog that way. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at, is building up more of my basics in an area that I can control. Inside first, backyard, front yard, driveway, sidewalk in front of the house, and then eventually you're going to start venturing out into the world a little bit. How am I doing on time? I got a minute? All right. Tanea, I'm going to read your question. It is daunting for me because it's so long. Usually Bethany would do it, but this is self-growth right here. All right, from Tanea. How can I please ask for help? I have a 9-week puppy. I love that too because that is the age group that we're catering to right now. He loves his crate and his toilet train. I work from home, so before I work, I take him outside to play and exercise, and we do some training. I also feed him breakfast 30 minutes before I work. His playpen is in the lounge, and my office is in the spare room. Do you have a pen? Can somebody hand me a pen? It's so long I gotta start making notes on this thing. All right. Bear with me, guys. I'll go over. I don't have Bethany to stop me. All right, so 30 minutes, breakfast before work. All right. His playpen is in the lounge and my office in my spare room. When I settle him, I start work, and all he does is scream and cry. I tried ignoring him, and when he settles, I reward him. As soon as I'm out of sight, 10 minutes later, he starts up again. It lasts for an hour or so. He's learned to jump out of his playpen and runs to my office door. I try and resettle him. It's very frustrating because I work in a call center, and I always have customers who are on the line who can't hear me because of the puppies crying. I've had to add another fence to prevent him from jumping out. We have his favorite toys in the playpen. How to get him to stop crying or love his playpen? Please, any help appreciated. Nothing you can do. He hates playpen. He's always going to hate playpen probably. You're probably not going to get him to stop hating playpen, but I have a saving grace. You don't actually want to be using the playpen. You need a crate. A crate is going to be amazing for you. Yes, he's still going to hate it. Yes, he's still going to bark, but it's going to start working him through the barking. The problem with the playpen in a dog that's overstimulated or has severe separation anxiety, and that sounds like pretty severe separation anxiety, or boundary frustration too, because a playpen is a boundary. But think about the size of a crate. If I have a dog that's as big as my forearm, from tip of my finger to my elbow, my crate is only about 2 inches longer on one side, 2 inches longer on the other side, and about 4 inches wide on each side. And he should be able to stand up without his head touching the crate, as long as he's not jumping up in there and he's just in a normal sit. That is the size of a proper crate for a puppy growing up, because it's only big enough for them to do a full circle and lay down. What I find happens a lot in playpens is, one, if a dog is in a playpen, they need to be in your line of sight. It's very dangerous if they're in the playpen, not within your line of sight. Puppies are known for jumping up and getting their paws stuck. We actually had a puppy 4 inches away from me jump up, get his paw stuck, and in the 3 seconds it took me to realize what was happening, I thought this puppy was going to break his paw. We got him out, he was okay, but these are the things that we don't plan for with the playpen. That's why they need to be always in your sight, because you need to be able to do something with that puppy in that moment if they get hurt, if they get their collar stuck, if they get their paw stuck, they get their leg stuck, whatever it is. That's why I'm not going to recommend playpen for you. I think it's too large. I think your puppy's probably pacing back and forth, building up more anxiety, getting more frustrated, and eventually hitting the climax of the barking and the whining, and then eventually jumping out. The fact that they're climbing up too gives me some worry, because if they fall down, hit their head, they can get hurt. All that aside, now you know all the reasons I don't like playpen for this situation. Great. I'd recommend a crate, because a crate is enclosed fully. And yes, they're probably going to cry just as much, but you need something that you can put in a room, in a dark space, a quieter area. And honestly, I mean, I've had people that have walk-in closets, and they're like, that's the only soundproof room in my house. It's a large space. I put a fan in there. There's a little bit of indirect airflow. I cover the crate with a towel just to make it as dark as possible. It's a temperature-controlled room because it's in the home. And the puppy barks for 10, 15 minutes and we can't hear it, or we hear it less. So we don't have to acknowledge it as much. It doesn't bother us for work. So the puppy eventually realized after 15 minutes of barking that we don't let her out, and she settles. Some dogs are a little bit worse if they have separation anxiety, and it just takes a little bit longer for them to get used to it. But it's really what we do when our puppy is outside of the crate that leads to more barking inside the crate. What does your free time look like? Tanea, what does your free time look like? When your puppy's out of the crate, are they on a leash? Are they doing training? Are they sitting on the couch with us for almost the entire free time? If you break down your free time perfectly for a puppy who has separation anxiety, I am diehard, so like anal retentive about a schedule for a dog with separation anxiety, because it's one of the only things that starts the progress of working through it besides training itself. But crate training, puppy comes out of the crate. The first thing I do is I leash them up. They're not getting held in my arms. They're not getting cuddled. They're on the ground because they have separation anxiety, and we can't keep rewarding or feeding into this. They're on the ground. They're hanging out. We walk them outside their potty area. They go potty successfully. We bring them in. We do walk and play 10 minutes. We do training 10 minutes. We do supervised separation 10 minutes. All of that, by the way, is in our Power Hour. If you guys want more information about that, June 26th, right? June 26th? June 26th, 2 weeks. We'll give you more information on that one. But if you can't tell, there's a lot of structure during free time. It's not freedom to roam the house. It's not freedom to just kind of do whatever they want. We're trying to give them a task, and there's a point to all three of the things I just mentioned. Walk and play gets out the physical energy. That's what allows a dog to settle down a little bit from the excess energy of being in the crate, especially if they've been barking and crying for the last hour. The training, the part two, starts working the brain and challenging the brain to get tired. The third part, supervised separation, that's your playpen or your dog bed in your office with you for 10 minutes with a back tie. So if I had a dog bed right here and I had something I could tie my leash to behind them, I would tie the leash to that, clip it to their harness, the dog bed's on the ground, so is the leash, and they're just hanging on the dog bed. They can't get to me, but they can get off the dog bed, go a few feet this way, a few feet that way, a few feet past the dog bed, and then be on the dog bed. And that's all they get for about 10 minutes. Teaches them to be calm, independent, self-sufficient, and they build confidence of their own merit. They build confidence on their own without needing you to do it for them, and it starts working through some of that separation anxiety. That's probably one of my favorite techniques, and that's why I'm such a crate schedule guy, is because I truly believe a crate schedule helps create balance in a home that maybe we're a little too affectionate. Maybe we don't train enough. You can get away with some of that stuff as long as you have a really good strict crate training routine and you have a good structure routine. All right, did I go over? Yeah, I did. Only 5 minutes, that's not that bad. All right, guys, thank you for joining. Am I solo again next week too? Ooh, I'll see how many people actually like me. If you come back, that means you guys like me. Okay. Next week, we're also solo as well, no Bethany, so if anyone is here for her, don't come next week. Ha! All right, see you next week. Bye. Oh, wait, smile, thumbs.